Before she passed away, Johnny Cash's first wife, Vivian Cash, finally broke decades of silence, and what she revealed quietly shattered one of music's most cherished legends. Long before the world crowned Johnny and June Carter as country music's greatest love story, Vivian was there at the very beginning. A teenage girl who met a shy, off-key airman at a roller skating rink in San Antonio in 1951, fell in love with his voice before anyone else ever heard it, and waited faithfully as thousands of handwritten letters crossed the ocean while he was stationed in Germany. Those letters, filled with devotion, loneliness, promises, and early warnings of drinking and temptation, became the foundation of a marriage that began with hope and devotion but slowly cracked under the weight of fame. Vivian married Johnny in 1954 believing she was marrying a man, not a myth, and together they built a life while he struggled to break into music, selling appliances by day and singing by night. When success finally came, Sun Records, Cry, 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 then I Walk the Line, it brought adoration, temptation, and distance, leaving Vivian at home raising 4 daughters while Johnny slipped further into alcohol, pills, and a touring life that pulled him away piece by piece. By the time they moved to California, the dream had turned dark. Addiction, arrests, reckless behavior, and a growing emotional absence that Vivian tried desperately to hide from her children. Behind the scenes, she watched another woman enter the picture, June Carter, not as a mythic soulmate, but as a real presence whose involvement Vivian believed worsened Johnny's addiction and erased her own sacrifices from history. As Johnny and June were celebrated publicly, Vivian endured private heartbreak, quietly gathering her children to retrieve their father from bars, boats, and back roads, all while the world cheered the man in black's rebellion. When the marriage finally collapsed in the mid-1960s, Vivian walked away not in bitterness, but in silence, rebuilding her life as a devoted mother and respected community figure, never speaking ill of Johnny to their daughters and never correcting the public story that painted her as an obstacle rather than the woman who stood beside him before fame rewrote everything. But years later, after seeing herself reduced to a villain in films and forgotten in history, Vivian chose to speak, not in anger, but in truth. Through her book, built largely from Johnny's own love letters, she revealed a deeper reality, that their love was real, lasting, and complicated, that addiction changed the man she loved, that her greatest pain was not the affair, but being erased, and that her deepest regret was carrying anger for so long without ever hearing Johnny say he was sorry. In her final reflections, Vivian wrote not to destroy a legend, but to complete it, to remind the world that behind every myth is a human cost, and that sometimes the quietest voice holds the truest story. When the lights faded and the applause died down, Vivian Cash was still waiting, for understanding, for closure, and perhaps for the apology she never heard in life, but hoped to find in the end.